Rex Heuermann, the man who's accused of being the Long Island serial killer, the Gilgo Beach murderer, we have more charges against him now, and it's not just going up to 5. I think many people thought there was just going to be one more added today. He's now been charged with a total of 6 murders, the new ones, including Jessica Taylor, whose partial remains were found near Gilgo Beach in 2011, and earlier in Marionville in 2003. Also charged with killing Sandra Costella, whose remains were found in 1993 in the Hamptons, previously not associated with the Gilgo Beach investigation. Gives us a longer timeline now on Rex Heuermann, and it also gives us more of a geographical space of where he may have been going and putting these bodies. Joining me to discuss, Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. Let's start there on these new charges. Are you surprised at all?
No, I'm not. I think he's not guilty yet, but he's charged, and I think it's going to keep going up. I think they're doing some really good due diligence here, and we talked about it last week when they went back in to do another search. And what was the hypothesis? They
Uh,
must have found more data or ability to get more DNA, or someone gave a timeline, a block of time from the
mhm.
hoarded house. And so we're going to look at this part of the house that we think there's a pile from that time frame in. And lo and behold, we now have new charges. I think as this continues, he has a possibility of going down as one of the most prolific serial killers we've had, because as we're seeing the time frames expanding and expanding, I think he's probably evolved
Mhm.
over the time frame that he's utilized. And now they're starting to get conjecture, and you're probably jumping the gun on you, conjecture of accomplices. And I looked at the stats on this. 23% of serial killers have had an accomplice, and out of those, I think it was like 7 or 10% has been the spouse.
Interesting. And that's, I mean, it's conjecture right now, but I'm not going to be surprised.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Another disturbing part to this, in the court filing, prosecutors said that they were able to use some new forensic methods to match hairs found on or near the vicinity of both of these victims. So we got more hair again, to DNA profiles that likely match Heuermann. And additionally, I think this is one of the more disturbing parts and probably the nail in the coffin to this, that it makes me wonder if we're ever going to see this at trial, or if it's going to be a pleading deal, because I don't know how you come back from this one. On his hard drive, of one of the hard drives, they have so many things that they got out of his home for digital evidence. They say that he methodically created blueprints for the killings. An all caps document featured a series of checklists with tasks to complete before, during, and after the killings. This is kind of reminiscent of BTK, but on a computer,
Yeah.
as well as practical lessons for next time. Among the dozens of entries written are reminders to clean the bodies and destroy the evidence, and to get sleep before the hunt. So he's rationalizing this in his brain and calling it a hunt, and to have a story set. One section titled "Things to Remember" appear to highlight lessons from previous killings. Prosecutors said, such as using a heavier rope and limiting noise in order to maximize playtime. A body prep checklist also includes other items and a note to remove head and hands. Pretty disturbing stuff to have on your hard drive, and I don't know. I don't know how you explain that one, unless it's like it's another novel. I was making a book with Corey
Yeah.
Richins, or somebody.
Yeah.
It's just so
No kidding. Oh
so
my
out
gosh.
there.
Yeah. And sadly, but luckily, it did span such a period of time that he had no idea to the extent he needed to clean, because of DNA
Mhm.
evidence and our abilities in today's day and age compared to the 90s,
Sure.
of the ability to do that. As well as, we see his architectural mind. Talking about those behavior arcs in life, him having that structured order mind of an architect, he's literally creating the architectural blueprint, said it right there, for how to do all the things he was doing on his secret life of killing women. But
Yeah.
and yeah, but it's just vast. It was vast, and it's a lot of behavior to hide for a long period of time. Um, that's where it'll be interesting. I think, as the tendrils on this one go out, if anyone is tied, because I literally, it's the first time I've actually looked this up, and I wasn't quite sure of it. I was under the assumption that, because most of the cases we've covered, serial killers are completely independent, not working with anyone, but it was 23%, which is a pretty significant number, had accomplices. So witting, unwitting, passively allowing it to happen. Those are the questions I think they're
Yeah.
going to have answered as this continues to progress, because it was a long period of time he's been doing this.
Well, Rex and Asa married in 96. This crime, the latest one we have, goes to 93. So he would have been in his 30s around that time, or late
Yeah.
20, depending on how they do the math. Uh, I don't know. So she would have been around for pretty much the 3 decades of this. As far as her knowledge, that's, I guess, up in the air. But we're talking 3 decades here, and you're completely clueless that this is going on. I guess it can happen. Not going to say it's
Hmm.
not, but I don't know. I just, there's got to be a bigger microscope going on there. And maybe they're getting that microscope right now with the documentary that's taking place.
I think so. And I think the attorney for the families, the girl,
Yeah, right.
he's done. We haven't heard from him in a while, but he uncovered some things that I'm sure investigators are looking at. Having to do with the type of parties he was having, the people that were attending those parties, back in the '90s,
Yeah.
and also, like you said, the '90s is when he was in his 30s. Well, stats also say serial killers, they pretty much commit their first one in general, if you're looking at the numbers, in their 20s.
Hmm.
So there was, if it's him, or whoever it was doing this, there was experimentation, at least most likely happening earlier than the '90s.
God.
So it's going to be, that's why I say this, given his age, given the identified potential start point,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot more that I think's uncovered.
I agree. It's going to be spooky. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.